Classic, dropping a car vlog. Hope you guys and gals are having a wonderful day. Excuse the noise and the muffling. Nobody tells you today, remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying for you guys and gals to have a wonderful day and to press through hard times, any times at all. Make sure you subscribe to the Taking Home podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics, and I put up my Masters Classic out for professional wrestler of 13 years. Next month it'll be 14. Make sure you look at the content. I speak about wrestling, and I'm also a wrestler and a booker and a promoter. So look at the playlist of my matches, some of the interviews that I had with wrestlers, and some of my insight on the business. Make sure you also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. 7 years in the game, truly a blessing. We have all of our matches from previous shows, most of the matches from previous shows. Look at great matches, stories, wrestlers. I'm telling you, it's some great stuff over there. Next weekend, February 21st, Big Business, B-I-G Business, Harold's Private Venue, Dyer, Indiana. Tickets are on sale now. Stellar matches, championship matches, and debuts. Make sure you get your tickets. They are $5 off on Eventbrite. There'll be $5 more at the door. May 23rd will be 20. That'll be the 20th show of C3 Ultimate Wrestling back in Dyer, Indiana, Harold's Private Venue. Tickets will be on sale soon. Also, February 21st, after you come see us at Big Business, come see me wrestle at my Backbreaker Wrestling debut at Double Down in Griffith, Indiana. I wanted to talk about Big Swole and AEW. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember when Big Swole gave her opinion on AEW, and basically they butt heads, and she went her separate way and AEW went their separate way? And then do y'all remember like the fallout from that? Now, Big Swole, she was like one of the wrestlers that was at the beginning at AEW. Shout out to Big Swole. When you see AEW Dark, she was on there and stuff like that, and she had like a feud with Britt Baker. For the most part, the feud was interesting. I didn't really care about the tooth and nail match where they was fighting in Britt Baker's office. Like, to me, that was so dumb. But I do feel like the backlash of the match, I felt Big Swole had it. She embraced most of it because they were so invested in Dr. Britt Baker. But I felt that Big Swole stuck out above a lot of the other women was because she actually had charisma and she had personality. Some of these women, even if they were vets in the game, they still didn't know how to cut a promo on the microphone or whatever like that. And I thought she did very good. She had a great match against Diamante. I think it was like a lights out match in AEW Dark. And I'd say that was one of the best matches in AEW Dark's history. If you guys remember, AEW Dark was the dark matches that AEW used to put on their channel. And it used to be like an hour or 2 hours long, it depends. Some of the matches was good, some of them was just pointless, and I think they knew that's probably why they stopped playing the show. But still, I do remember Big Swole being a big part of it. I remember her story with Britt Baker and stuff like that, and I remember like Britt Baker said something about Big Swole's husband or something like that, and then Big Swole was like, "I'm married, baby," like, because she wasn't married to Adam Cole. I remember this stuff. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. But still, I remember that, and I do remember like when they decided to part ways. I don't know, I think Big Swole didn't sign a contract. AEW saying they let her contract run out, but she really was like very, very vocal on diversity in AEW. And honestly, she used to stick up for even wrestlers, black wrestlers, when they wasn't even with the company. I remember Maddie Brinkowski, I think her name is Brent Sinclair in WWE and NXT now. I remember when the bands and stuff. And somebody said, oh, it's just like Bianca Belair. I'm paraphrasing. And Maddie was like, oh, but my hair is real. And I remember Big Swole like cleared it up with Maddie and stuff. It was like, we're not about to do that. You kind of need that like motherly thing. And sometimes you do need to be checked. And I feel like Big Swole was like a big part of doing certain things like that. Now, I have spoken about diversity in AEW and WWE. I have done videos with Yall, shout out to Kevin Young Sr. I've talked to Arshawn. We've talked about these kind of things about a lot. And most of the time, it's not the fact that it's a lack of representation. It's just the lack of great presentation. And AEW is no different from that. Even back then, I've talked about how they promoted Nyla Rose and they promoted Sunny Kiss as part of the LGBTQ community. And it was like, Nyla won the women's belt and Sunny didn't really do much, but Sunny was on, TV and then was in the group. I forgot the Trust Bus, whatever that group was. Just a random group of people. And still, it was just like, I remember this stuff and it was just like, y'all are just saying this just to try to say that you guys are progressive and stuff like that. Look at what wrestling has become. Wrestling is booking these kind of people and stuff like that who have their personal life on their sleeve. And my thing was, it's a business. And sometimes people pander. Pander. I got broads in Atlanta. Tony Khan did pander. But still, it's like, we see these kind of things a lot. So, I remember that, like, when people at AEW started, a lot of people was like, well, when are y'all going to have a black champion? He was like, within like 2 years or whatever like that. And it was like, what, year 4? year 4 or 5 or something when it happened. But still, people remember these kind of things. So Big Swole, she did go online and she was saying like she would butt heads with Kenny Omega because at one point Kenny was like head of the women's division. And to me personally, I didn't think that Kenny needed that position. I didn't think that the Young Bucks needed the position of being what was they, execs, VPs? Yeah, VPs. I didn't think they needed that. It's all right, cool. Some of y'all are the most talented wrestlers. I wouldn't call y'all the best, but y'all are some of the most talented wrestlers. But I don't think that y'all could do these kind of roles just because this guy's giving you money and stuff. And obviously, some people are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to try it. I don't think that their decision was the best things to do. I do think that Big Swole, for the most part, and I don't know Big Swole, probably had a better insight about how the women felt and stuff like that, especially if you want to say, okay, well, we're going to do things and we're going to show women right. Like, they've had women of color even back then, but you would see them on AEW Dark. And the ongoing joke that me and Kevin Young Sr. had, good morning. The ongoing joke that me and Kevin Sr. used to say was, if y'all want to see wrestlers, black wrestlers, you have to look at AEW Dark, and you get what I mean when we say that and stuff like that. We do see people who have slipped through the cracks. You see Big Swole. I mean, not Big Swole. Swerve. I'm about to say Big Swerve. You see Swerve and stuff like that. You see things happening, but it's still not a lot. And I'm not even asking them. And I think that's where I differentiate with a lot of people who especially get on podcasts talking about lack of representation and presentation. I'm not asking these people to do something that they don't want to do. They have options. They have other shows. They have other companies and stuff like that. Or maybe people just put too much stock in what they want to do. Because I do remember Big Swole saying like lack of representation and stuff like that, and not only for black people but for Latino and for everybody else. And then Tony's response was, oh well, as a person of color, me and Megan and blah blah blah, start naming all of these people that are of color. Hey, you can hire an all-black cast of a thing and still not represent them right. You can still not present them right. Like that here damn stuff, people gotta get out of that stuff. Here, look, we just here. This is what you want. Now it's just like, okay, now it's tainted for a way. It's tainted in a way. So like when I was talking about when WWE was trying to give black wrestlers tryouts because of Paul's comments. Why don't y'all check Paul for the comments instead of trying to say, oh, well, look at what we got now. No, that's not going to work. It's not going to be cool. And then like it went to the point to where Tony Khan was like the reason why we didn't re-sign Big Swole because she wasn't that good. And I'm just like, as a promoter, you shouldn't do that. Like y'all see it, a lot of people's upset when Vince say stuff about wrestlers and all of that stuff, and Tony just starting and talking about progressive and all of this other stuff, turning around saying that a wrestler isn't good because they disagree with how you do something with the company is not good. Like you can sit here, you can say, okay, we don't see eye to eye. And honestly, for the most part, I think he may have learned from it. Even with like other wrestlers when they sign somewhere else, oh, I wish them the best and blah, 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 blah. But still, it was like, to me, I felt like that was just horrible to say that somebody wasn't good. They was good enough to be signed though. But as soon as they came out and said something, and I remember the backlash that people had for Big Swole, unfortunately. Oh, she's not that good of a wrestler. Oh, she's not a main eventer. Oh, she can't cut it. I'm like, honestly, she could have been a main eventer if they wanted her to be a main eventer. She can actually talk on the microphone, and I thought that she was a decent wrestler. I mean, she had a couple mess-ups, but that happened. This is part of the business. But I do think that they could have did a whole bunch of stuff with her. Now, for what I see sometimes, I see her like announcing for Ashe Wrestling, and straight cookout vibes. So still, I do remember this because it was like, I don't want to say a blemish on AEW, but I do remember that, like, I feel like that could have been handled a lot better. We fast forward now, and it looks like Swole was more right than people thought she was. She was more right than they thought she was wrong. Swerve was a world champion, and they got all of these belts, but all of these belts don't really like mean much or nothing. I mean, Mercedes Moné, she came in, she did some stuff. Jade came in, did some stuff with a secondary title and stuff like that, but still, it's, hey, I think Swole was right. We're looking at both companies, and it's like sometimes they drop the ball with stuff. And like with WWE, a lot of people is like, okay, well, y'all got a lot of these guys that are undeniable and stuff like that at the same time, and they're all three different, style wrestlers. The black wrestlers, Trick, Ova, and Javon. So now it's either put up or shut up. With AEW, it's not a put up or shut up because people are still giving AEW grace. They're still giving them grace because they're going to always say, oh, well, it's a new company. Give it time. I don't have to give it time. How much time do I have to give it? Sometimes people show you what they are. What Maya Angelou said? If someone shows you who they are, believe them. And that's exactly what they're doing. Yeah, AEW Dark. What's going on? What's up? What up, Melon? What up, Austin? Britt used to be, she used to be with him, but apparently they're not together. I don't know if they are. And I'm not in their personal business, but everyone out perfect. I can't wait till she wins the title. I mean, I hate that, like, it seems like the story is just too obvious. Her having all of those belts, okay, cool. That's cool for her legacy. But, like, as a standpoint of a company that has her as a champion, like, dog, the belts was more of a prop. I don't think it helped any prestige with the company. I think obviously it helped ticket sales because of Mercedes Moné, but still, we'll see. I mean, I'm not really interested in Chris Statlander and Thekla. Nothing against these two women. They're just not interesting. And to me, regardless of Moné, people like her or not, she gets a reaction. You get what I'm saying? And Chris gets a reaction too, but people give a reaction because they like them. It's not the fact that it's great matches and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? So still, Big Swole was right. I do think that people should apologize to her. They're not going to because they're not remembering this stuff. But I remember. Me and Pepper's Farm, we do remember because she was right about it. And my thing was, like I said, slight pushback is, nah, I think it's more of presentation. You can book all of these black wrestlers and all of these wrestlers of color, and if you don't present them right, then that can be a problem. Stereotypes, de-pushing, or not seeing the potential. Like, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's not about color, but still. I'll never forget that awkward interview between Cam and Tony Khan years ago at the Super Bowl years ago, too. And that's the thing. It's like, just be clear about certain things. When you're not black and you speak about black issues or people, and Tony is a person of color. Like, I'm not going to take that away from him, obviously. But when you sit here and try to speak about certain things and you tone deaf, better yet, color tone deaf, you shouldn't do it. It's a scarf. But still, I'm at work, so I need to be at there. If y'all leave it in the comments, we'll talk more about it. Let me know. Should we talk more about it when I get off work? Let me know. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.